We fought a goddamn war to stop them, and now I find out it may be happening here, on our soil? No.
So what are you really here to do, Ted?
I'm gonna get the proof. I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna blow the lid off this place. That's it.
In this matrix, there is a common language being used to shape and design its inhabitants. Today we will examine ley line work and exactly how individuals have placed certain things on ley lines to affect the total consciousness of those that are in the radius. The Earth, which is shaped more like a tangerine than a sphere, has a particular grid popularly called the Becker-Hagen's grid. This grid shows the points of the energy centers and where they connect on Earth. Where those particular energy centers connect, certain devices and objects have been placed there to harness, channel, and control the energy. It is of value for one to know this so they can spot ley lines that may be contaminated and also areas that may be consecrated for powerful energy. We'll take this brief moment to pull away from the monotone conversation of rehearsal and get right into explaining exactly what's going on with these portals. At connecting points on the Earth, there are portals. Normally these places are named as such and called ports, even Portugal itself. Even the Port-au-Prince is a very powerful portal, which leads us to question exactly what is going on in that country and why they felt like they needed to sacrifice 230,000 people. Basically what we're dealing with here is the matrix itself is organic. The construct that you're looking at is more like a skin over the real world. So when you see a port or barrier, a region, a wall, what you're looking at sometimes is division that what we're calling here gods have divided the earth by. And they have their signs and their symbols and geometry. Not only that, crop circles are used also to place energy into certain areas. So that is the more technological version of doing the same thing. For those who are questioning how all this works, there is basically a layout that you see in several different places that exists in structures like the Pentagon, also in structures like the White House where you have a pentagram that's drawn in the street. But basically what this is about is that a pent, as you see the word, doesn't mean feather, it means to hold something in, like a pin, a playpen, pig pen. In this, there is a certain design that's set up that they trap with. These are fissures of men. And it's more on a cosmic level. It's a cell or a gel, as they call it. Like, look at the terms being used. Cell, which is the cellular structure of the body. Gel, which is the hemoglobulin or the nature of the plasmic field. And they set up these pins, which are basically 5 points. In a lot of countries that you may be in, or even cities, you'll see they have a place that's actually called 5 points. And that's why also on the door of the Bohemian Grove it says, weave not your webs here, because there is something within the pattern of the pentagram itself that allows man and woman and other beings even to cast spells on one another. This is a knowledge that is profane and abhorred. This geometry is called sacred geometry. It's really unsacred geometry. Just if you look at the intersecting lines between a lot of the geometry, it means certain things, but you can imagine the potential when you have an endless intersecting lines, meaning that you have an actual orb rather than hard lines, because that is dense. That those are devices used to control dense beings.
By the time people figure this out, it'll be too late. They'll take over unless we can stop them. Now, I see the looks. It's the first time hearing this for some of you. You think we're crazy, right?
Do you have any proof? You know, other than scary stories being passed around the internet?
No, use them.
The basic strategy that's being used by the virus is divide. This also signifies 2 and 11. They go by under the terms V and W, which is 2 V's. This is pretty much the sign and symbolism being used. V, of course, means 5. 5 is pin. But V has several other meanings, as it is 2 fingers, meaning peace, not wholeness. Understand that the peace signs and other signs of that nature were satanic signs and not used to actually implicate what they were being propagated to be. Okay, what this is about another untold story of what's taken place in different lands and when those lands were raped and pillaged. But basically, when Christopher Columbus named Costa Rica as such because the word means the coast is rich. So basically, when they came across the coast, they of course saw how extravagant this place is. It's like a paradise. So that's why it's necessary that what's been done in the dark comes to the light. So I won't be doing any editing here because it's just important to get the information out. So basically what I discovered when I got here was there was an area, actually I discovered first a map that was drawn, as they say, a traveler knows the world by ley lines, and I discovered a map that was drawn over Costa Rica and one of these pentagrams that I was explaining earlier in this video, and it was drawn right over the center of San Jose. And I'm actually looking for this picture now because I know I actually got it off the internet and put it on my computer, so I'll have it in a moment. But I went to this actual area, which is the main part. This is downtown San Jose, and this is what's called the 4 cardinal points. This is basically where all the energy for the whole country emits from this point. That's why they make certain capitals that way. The building that's being depicted in this picture is the actual building called the National Theater, which is the building that was built by Jesuits and Masons when they came over here. Now, directly next to this building, there's the Gold Museum, which actually, from a topographical map and a map showing underground, is an inverted pyramid. There's also a tunnel that they act like they just discovered, even though someone that's been here for a long time told me about it before they played like they just discovered it. There's a tunnel that was running underground from the church that's across the street into the orphanage. As you see at the 4 points, you have Bacchus, who is Dionysus. You have Kronos, who's Saturnale. And then to top it all off, if you go to Wiki under National Theater of Costa Rica, you'll see that this theater construction began in 1891 and it opened to the public on October the 21st of 1897 with the performance of Johannes Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust. So Faustian, of course, is the pact between oneself and the devil, or selling oneself to the devil. So we see this type of trend going on here now with, of course, that information coming out about Haiti, which the small video is on, and I'll go ahead and attach it to this. But that's basically what we're doing now, is we're uncovering everything that's been done in the dark, bringing it to the light, and that's what we're being judged by as our actions, so we have nothing to shy away from.
With a few enhancements of my own. My journey took me somewhat further down the rabbit hole than I had intended, and though I dirtied my fluffy wet tail, I've emerged enlightened.
To pull oneself out of the planned net or planet, all they have to do is go within. Externalizations allows a person to be trapped and unbalanced. If you notice, there are 2 realities that you are perceptive of. That is this physical reality and the one that takes place in your dreams. Although people downplay the dream world and they often forget their dreams, that is the sheer indication that one part of the body is not functioning. When most people are born right-handed, that means they are unbalanced. This is also a clear signification that we are in a world that thinks it's right, meaning that it feels like it must exclude the left. While those even that practice the religions that we are looking at today that are supposed to be solar cults, inside of all their cabals, they practice with lunar cults or left-hand paths. This does not mean either one of these paths in their extreme are correct to go down. One has to understand that there's a balance between the 2.